So I finally got around to playing not Overwatch the game on Nintendo Switch, Paladins. Despite all the crap this game gets for being so similar, at least looking so similar to Overwatch, this is actually a pretty fun game and fairly unique to other games in the hero shooter genre, in my opinion. Let's actually start with the visuals. Those graphics. The actual visual quality of the game is pretty rough. It appears that much of the detail has been dropped right through the floor to get this thing running on the Switch. Is there a quality setting lower than lowest on PC? Because that's probably about where we're at. However, it gets the game running at 60 frames per second. And when everything's running well, I've had a laggy match here and there, but it hasn't been the norm. When that's not an issue, it's a pretty smooth 60. And if you follow my channel, you know that I'll take that all day, especially in a shooter. I've said it plenty of times in the past. I'm a frame rate over resolution and that type of person, and I don't think having that higher frame rate is more important in any type of game more than it is in a competitive shooter like this. You gotta have that 60 FPS, I think, if the game's all gonna revolve around that competitive aspect. Sticking with the visuals, the character designs. Not the most original. If anything about this game truly feels like a discount Overwatch, it's the character designs. They're incredibly generic, I think. Some seem to be, let's say, heavily inspired by some Overwatch characters at least. But yeah, mostly it's like, oh, we have the steampunk chick, the goblin guy. There's an array, they're different from each other, but the characters themselves don't particularly stand out, they don't look unique. Gameplay-wise, though, they feel good and definitely unique from each other. And again, I think that's where things count in these sorts of games. It's not enough to just know which role you want to play, tank, healer, DPS, etc., because the characters within these categories still play pretty differently and require different strategies. Makes it enjoyable that you can regularly switch up your play experience by simply changing characters. And the deeper strategies develop when you start to learn what your guy can do to counter other characters as well as what they can do to counter you. I enjoy that aspect of the hero shooters very much. And something I prefer with Paladins, at least in the modes I've played, there doesn't seem to be any of the switching between characters deal, like throughout the match. I always found that to be annoying in Overwatch, having to keep up with everyone constantly rotating characters, kind of going to my point before. Rather than learning about how to best utilize the character you're playing in different situations, it more so encourages just switching characters to gain an advantage. Another thing I really like about this game, more than Overwatch, is the escort game type in this. Both games have this same, move the thing along a fixed path to get to the goal mission. But what I like in Paladins is you actually capture a point first that can be captured by either team. It's kind of a blend of the King of the Hill and escort game type. You have to capture the point to activate the car or whatever you're escorting, then you bring it to the other team's goal. And unlike in Overwatch where one team is on offense and the other one's on defense and then you switch, this makes the opening moments a scramble, which makes things more chaotic because each team wants to get that initial advantage. There was also this weird event going on when I was playing where you did like some platforming up this tower to collect these. I don't even know what the collectibles were. But the teams do that before we start killing each other. It was different, but it was fun trying to beat the other team across these platforms. Again, not exactly sure what was happening, what I was achieving, but it was interesting. And regardless, still ends with us blasting each other in the end anyway. Something that is actually very different from a game like Overwatch is this game has builds for your character, more akin to something like League of Legends. There are purchases you can make during each match to power up your guy, but there are also these cards you set up beforehand. Each character has a set of these cards that you equip that all give additional attributes. Could be reduced cooldown, more ammo, increased healing, etc. You equip 5 of them, but you also have these points that you can apply to essentially power each card up. So there are a ton of options here in terms of which ones you want to use, as well as how much power you want to give to each of them. Definitely a fair amount of build variety with this, and this can make playing even the same character over and over more interesting as you can experiment with various setups and find the one that best suits your playstyle. And to my knowledge, you can't spend any real money that would have an effect on this build stuff. I don't think you can buy the cards or anything like that. From what I've seen, the real money stuff is similar to like League of Legends. You use it to buy other characters, skins, mounts, and all that I don't believe have any effect on the game. So that's nice. Yeah, at the end of the day, this game is actually pretty different from Overwatch once you get past that surface level. But no matter what, the game will probably never shake being overshadowed and compared to the shooter juggernaut. However, here's the thing about us players on the Nintendo Switch. Overwatch, the people over at Blizzard, they don't find it to be worth their time bringing their game over to the Switch right now. And the Paladins guys, they did. And while I probably wouldn't tell people to run out and buy that Founders Pack to get in on the game now, it's going to be free to play soon. So certainly if you've been hoping for Overwatch or an Overwatch-like experience on the Switch, you should at least give Paladins a chance when it becomes free. And who knows, perhaps if this game gains traction, that will perk up the attention of the people at Blizzard. But as it stands just right now, I think this game fills that void just fine. And with that, this video is a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Paladins in the comments. Do you plan to check it out when it opens up to everyone as free to play? As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.